Yeah, and it was better than last year. We just kept went on the road.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome to our career panel. My name is Noelle Sass. I'm a junior sport management major with a minor in psychology. I'm the president of the Sport Management Club and the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, as well as a member of the women's soccer and softball teams. We're going to get started with Alex first. I don't know if he can hear me, but we're going to try. All right, so do you just want to give us a brief introduction?
I'm Alumni, and I am the manager of strategic planning and monetization at Basic Sports. Thank you guys so much for having me here today.
All right, we'll start down here with Emily and then work our way down.
My name is Emily Humphreys, and I am the Partnerships and Development Associate for Soccer Without Borders.
My name is Catherine Yates, and I am currently the Director of Analytics for the Boston University men's ice hockey team.
My name is Milton Ricarte. I know a lot of you guys already know me. I graduated 2 years ago, but I'm currently working with GAN Academy in Waltham as their strength and conditioning coach.
My name is Elise McClear. I am the head of Partnerships Development and Marketing for the Boston Breakers.
Yeah, my name is Mike Riley. I'm with 98.5 The Sports Hub and WBZ in Boston, Newbury College, graduate class of 2006 here. Yeah.
All right, so to start, we're just going to sort of rewind for you guys. Were you all sport management majors? And if not, what did you major in? And how did that sort of help you to pick this line of work?
I was communications.
I had no idea when I signed up, to be honest. I had no clue. I heard the next person next to me say sports management. I heard the word sports, and I kind of got me into it.
I was a double major in sport management and marketing while I was at Newbury.
I did the same thing. I was a dual major in sport management and economics.
I was bio and physiology undergrad and engineering grad school, so very not sport management.
I was sports management undergrad, and then I did education for my postgrad.
Can you guys just speak a little bit to how that sort of helped you find your way into the paths you're in now, or how it had no influence on that at all?
I know for me that I had always sort of gravitated towards the like sciences and math and computer type stuff, but also, you know, have always been a sports person, loved playing them, watching them, had anything to do with it. So sort of figured that my best bet to, you know, be successful and help a team out was going to be sort of in the capacity of a team nerd of some kind. So.
Myself, I mean, as a former athlete, I just figured, you know, I need to find something where I needed to transition my passion for soccer into the real world, and then that's kind of how I decided to figure out sports management was my path, and then, you know, experiencing through internships and other jobs kind of helped me also along the way to evolve to where I am now.
I hated math and I hated science growing up in high school, and I'm like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life, so I got to find my passion. I found talking on the radio or doing something on TV. And thankfully, I'm able to do that. Going to work every day doing something that I enjoy, where it doesn't even feel like work every day, and able to excel here in Newbury to do that, get the reps in, and now able to do what I'm doing for a living on a daily basis.
To piggyback off of Mike, I grew up loving sports and numbers, and you know, I just wanted to do something I was passionate about, and kind of just randomly, you know, whatever opportunities that were out there. I didn't even know my job existed until I actually applied for it. So.
I think my marketing degree is what I use most, dealing with partnerships and our donors with Soccer Without Borders, but my sport management has also helped me. I have done internships with both the Breakers and Revs, and then stayed on with the Revs after my internship postgraduate. So I have used my sport degree and I've used my marketing degree.
So Catherine, you talked a little bit about being one of the nerds in sports. Can you tell us a little bit about what hockey analytics is, just so that everybody has a general sense of sort of what you do?
I work closely with the coaching staff and also the strength and conditioning staff, and we'll basically sort of go through video post-game, help break down video, and track and calculate certain stats that we keep, and come up with, you know, additional ways that we can evaluate and improve our player performance and sort of figure out where we're at relative to each other, where we're at relative to other teams, and just work with the coaching staff to help us sort of get an objective look at where we're at and where we need to be improving.
What sort of jump-started you guys or inspired you to work in the sport field? Like, what made you really want to go for that once you got out of college, or when you were going into college? Like, how did you decide what you wanted to do?
Myself, I know I have about 3 big moments in which I kind of already knew that's what I wanted to do. The first one being probably the most important one was my first coaching job. I had no clue what I was going to get into, and they just kind of threw me up there, and they figured I was pretty much babysitting because I was actually coaching toddlers, so they didn't even know how to run. And one of the big challenges was teaching them how to stand up, So the big question that the parents will always come up with is, how do you do it? How do you make them get up? And funny little project I came up with, just using plastic turtle shells. Have them crawl with them, push them against the wall. Next thing you know, they're standing. And babies don't even realize that. So at that moment, I knew I wanted to work in sports field, helping either an athlete or someone that's a former athlete that wanted to be better or achieve something. And having a baby go from crawling to get up, it's one of those big moments that I consider this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think for me, being an athlete in high school and college and after college as well, I just always wanted to work in the sports industry. I went through a couple different sports related fields. I did the sports marketing, I did coaching, and kind of fell into the sports admin side, where kind of the back end stuff of all of the professional games. I worked for the Revolution before the Breakers, and kind of like to work in the back end and see everything develop in the back end, and then go to the games to see everything come together.
I had an idea that I wanted to work in foundation work and nonprofit work of sport. I'm a big youth sports advocate, and that's during my time at Newbury I did a lot of research on some of the undefined values of youth sport and getting into a further look of like how youth sport and youth sport done in the proper ways can teach respect, responsibility, and really help really the self-efficacy of a child. And so I kind of fell in love with that. I took a detour into ticketing with the New England Revolution, but realized kind of quickly that wasn't for me, and then found work with Soccer Without Borders, which is a nonprofit.
I would say growing up, I knew I was going to be good as a pro, but I always wanted to stay involved in sport, just that atmosphere, that camaraderie. Sports is being in the industry, you have to be passionate about what you do. You can't just, work 9 to 5, call it a day, not like it. I think it's one of those, people are so invested in it that you have to come in like eager to work every day. And that's something I love. People come in with a smile on their face, happy to do what they do. And, I couldn't be happier, afterwards.
Awesome. So we talk a lot here about making connections and like building on people you meet and things like that. So can you guys speak a little bit to the idea of how much of an impact having connections has made throughout your journey through your work in the sport world?
Yeah, actually, one of my former professors here in radio class, I still stay in touch with him. I actually talked to him the other day, first time in a couple months. We chat a few times throughout the year, and he put my demo together, and he gave me a lot of advice to be where I'm at today, and to have me stay here in the market too, which we're pretty fortunate about, having had to move out of Boston. I've been able to stay here and talk about all the teams in Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, everything. So because of him, he's one of the guys right there. And then not just him, but also other people that I was networked to through him, and by working with other people that I went to school with there, and that they were able to intern with other teams, maybe the Celtics, the Bruins, and to get in front of them too, and so forth. So the connections that you make are huge, especially in this industry, no matter what. And also, I tell people all the time, don't ever burn any bridges, because you never know, you could be working for that person.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, it's going to be huge, guys. So definitely start, making as many connections as possible. Networking is going to be that number one key you're going to need whenever you get out there. I know myself. Even last night, I got to experience it. I was working with an actual collegiate athlete right now. She's in New York, and through her, I met her teammate, who was actually here in Boston now working with Tufts University. And guess what? They're in need of a strength and conditioning coach pretty soon. So right there at that moment, you know, hey, take my cart. Let me know if you guys ever need help. I will go and shadow and see what I can do for you guys. And you know, at the beginning, it might sound like it's free work, but you never know. You know, someone is watching you, someone is paying attention to what you're doing, and next thing you know, the war is going to turn into a very, very small war, especially in this industry.
Yeah, definitely just always sort of be ready to like be on and like expect that you are going to be making connections. Like I know our head strength coach in the off season runs a gym down in Connecticut about 20 minutes from my parents' house, and this past summer was having some logistical issues with the person who was going to do the sort of operations and business side for the summer. So I was like, you know, I'll live at home for the summer and help you out. And ended up, you know, through him, he works with a lot of NHL players and teams and GMs and that kind of thing. So even just, you know, had me doing projects on the side for him of, you know, can you put together progress reports for some of the athletes and that kind of thing, and had coaches come in and sort of got to deliver that to them, even though, you know, it may look like I'm just the person sitting behind the desk doing the billing, answering the phone, whatever. Just sort of always be ready to promote yourself and put your work out there, because people are, you know, they're real people, the people that you're going to be making connections with. They come and pick their kid up from hockey practice, and you know, you gotta always sort of be ready to do that.
I think it's a little weird for me to be sitting up here because 2 years ago, Elise took a chance on me and hired me as an intern. And back then, my internship with the Breakers kind of sparked my internship and employment with the New England Revolution. And soccer was something 2 year ago, 3 years ago, I don't think I would have been like, oh, I'm going into the soccer industry. But here I am and I love it. So you be open to all doors and be open to anyone who's willing to give you a helping hand.
I got where I am at the Breakers because of the internship I did in college. Somebody that I didn't even work with that I knew from my internship that I kind of just, you know, talked to in the office was actually the general manager of the Breakers, and when I was with the Revolution, asked me to come over to the Breakers. So knowing those connections is huge, and just talking to everybody.
That was just connected, you know, because we became friends. So build those connections, you know, with your peer group down, you know, change the VP of XY company. You just, you know, be a good person. Yes, like motivate yourself.
Speak a little bit to what your experience as a female working within the sport world has been. Katie.
So yeah, I you know, work with a men's team and a men's coaching staff and that kind of thing. But I think it definitely is something that is a team culture that can be established and can be, you know, you're not automatically going to be at a disadvantage. We have our director of hockey operations is a woman. One of our student managers is a woman. We have a lot of, you know, female involvement in our team and in the administration of our team, and it has sort of, you know, maybe initially at the beginning there was a little bit of pushback, but in the time that I've, you know, been around, there has never been any sort of, you know, maybe from other teams that aren't as accustomed to having women around, we've gotten a little bit of crap from them. But, you know, within our own team, the guys are super respectful, the coaches are super respectful. So I think that definitely is something that if you are committed to sort of sticking with it and, you know, making it clear, like, hey, I'm here because I'm really good at what I do, like they would have hired, you know, if there was a guy who was going to do this as well, they would have hired him. So, like, you know, just sort of establish, like, I'm here for a reason, and, you know, that team culture can be established if it isn't already there.
Yeah, I actually get this question a lot, and I don't think it's a huge thing for women versus men in sports. I think it's just, you know, any way you can get your foot in the door, whether it be, you know, just doing a non-paid internship like Emily did, or you know, anything that you can do to get your foot in the door and, you know, establish that relationship and build trust with people and have them realize that you can do this job the same as a man could is huge.
Yeah, I think they said it great. Just build trust and be professional at all times, and just always be professional.
Perfect. We're going to jump over to our alums now. Can you guys speak a little bit to how your education from Newbury helped you to succeed in the sport industry? I know we talked about a little bit with connections, but just from a more educational side.
All right. Myself, I mean, probably the first 2 years I didn't think it was going to, you know, guide me as much as it does now. But then once I started to realize, you know, what I was seeing in the real world is actually what I saw in the classroom or what I hear from teachers, is that to make everything easier. I mean, I even still keep my notes from class because, you know, you never know. And what I do, I'm always doing research to, you know, either help an athlete be better or help them recover from an injury. And, you know, being able to plan things out, keep a nice calendar and a schedule, it's huge. And I'm pretty sure a lot of your professors talk to you guys about that, time management, you know. And I think one of the big things I got from all the education I got from Newbury was to be able to actually manage my time very well. And again, all the way till today, I've been doing way much better. I probably was in the position you guys, a lot of you guys are in right now, where you guys kind of like scatter all over the place. But you know, once you start getting your priorities better and all that kind of stuff, the education that you get from me, especially in the sports management program, it's gonna come in really handy. Don't throw away any notes that you're taking. Always keep in safe books, all that kind of stuff. It's gonna help you at some point later on as you become a professional.
Yeah, and you know, to touch on that too, I mean, this day and age now, you guys all know this, but it's pretty crucial for any job to have a degree of some sort. And you know, I was not an A and B student. I fully admit that. I was like a C, maybe a B minus was awesome. I was happy as a flame with that. You know, that was like an A achievement for me, but just the fact that you get your degree is huge, and from a great institution right here at Newbury College, that says a lot too. You're able to have that on your resume. But like, you know, what this guy was saying too with the books and everything, I still hold on to my public speaking book too, because I still do some side work as auctioneer right clear, you know, emceeing for events, and I look back on stuff like that. I'll look back on some notes just with things like how to host a show or how to do some editing and so forth, just the format of a specific talk show. That's because of the experience I got here at Newbury. I still utilize that today on a daily basis. And the clock and broadcasting, I learned it here. I still have that original one, like the actual clock and so forth. Morning time, 6 to 10, midday 10 to 2, all that. When to air commercials, what to do with specific things to say and when to say it, all because I got a regular Newbury.
I think my biggest takeaway from academics, but also athletics, is just be ready for anything. There was a time that Newbury didn't have fields, and so when you were gearing up for practice that morning, you had everything from pants, sneakers, cleats, shoes, like everything in your bag, just because you didn't know what practice was going to be that afternoon. And transferring that over to academics is the conversation in the classroom doesn't stop because you didn't finish your reading, because you didn't do the reading that night. So just be ready for anything, be open to anything. And I think like every day, our co-founder will send me, you know, 3 different links or notes or something that she was thinking of, and whether I've researched them or not, like I need to present to her that afternoon. So it's something, just be ready for anything and be open to doing anything at any moment.
Can you just tell us a little bit about what exactly monetization is?
Monetization basically is we're looking to, you know, kind of maximize how much money we can make off commercials. The biggest thing I was charged with when I first started was creating a model for the NFL sales all the way through the Super Bowl. And, you know, like I said, I came from a background of life numbers, and my other major was economics. So, you know, I kind of put all that together into this role. A lot of it was supply and demand. You know, like, I can tell you that New England Falcons game, there's a lot of demand for that game, so we can charge a little bit more if we wanted to. And you know, just looking at that, like granular level all across our portfolio.
Elise, can you tell us some of the challenges that you face marketing one of the smaller teams in such a big sports city like Boston?
Yes, there's a lot of challenges. A lot of it has to do with, you know, the fact that we are a small organization, don't have a ton of money like the Red Sox or the Celtics or the Patriots. So our marketing we have to be more creative. So we don't have, you know, the money to put up a huge billboard or be on TV or anything like that. So we kind of have to go about the marketing a little bit differently. You know, we do our social media and our newsletter marketing, but you know, that only is attractive to the people that are following us or that, you know, get our emails. So we kind of have to think about a way to reach out to people that don't follow us and kind of get our brand out there. So it's very challenging to kind of compete with those other sports. I think, you know, having the low price points and, you know, kind of getting around it that way is kind of how we go about it. And doing marketing that maybe other teams don't do. We do a lot of, face-to-face and door-to-door and going to events and kind of doing it our own way so that we can kind of get our face out there.
Milton, can you tell us what it's like balancing between like multiple sports, making sure people are conditioned, just how you sort of go through a...
Yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest challenge I see every single day. I went from being a soccer player myself and not knowing how all the other sports pretty much work, to learn everything. Well, not everything, but mostly the most important things on every single one now. And to me, again, it's a big challenge every day. It's tons of research, so every single person is a different map that you have to build and just put it all together. And yeah, honestly, it's challenging. You really have to be able to get around it, balance what you consider work life with what you're dealing with, which is making sure that what really takes for every single person, individual, what's going to work for them. And it takes a lot of research.
So now that we've heard a little bit about what you all do now, can you tell us about what your first job was in sport and how you sort of advanced from there, if you remember or want to go there?
So my internship was with Mass Premier Soccer, which is now Global Premier Soccer. I was in the marketing department, but I did a lot of spreadsheets and research and stuff like that. Like I said, it got me to where I am today by the connections, but it's not something that you kind of pride yourself on. It was a lot of doing spreadsheets and Excel spreadsheets and different stuff like that. So it wasn't too much fun.
I did coaching along with office work. I made sure that the internship side I was doing it, they understood that I wanted to experience both. So I made sure that I was also not just getting coaching hours, but also administrative hours. And I did a lot of tasks too that were not fun, but now they come in handy.
I work for a sporting goods company, like a smaller mom and pop type of one, helping them update their client database and manage orders for custom equipment and apparel.
So mine was the internship with the Breakers, and I think setting up pitch side seating is like the one thing that I do not like doing, and then I had to do it again when I interned with the Reds. Yeah.
I started actually doing public address announcing in high school, and I did it here at Newbury College for basketball and volleyball, a little bit of soccer too. That was really cool to do it at the NCAA level. I did that for a few years after that. Still do it sporadically every now and then, but I did some semi-pro baseball and even the Red Sox single-A farm team, the little spinners at one point, just on the side. But my first internship, though, was actually our competing station for sports radio, where I'm at now. I'm at the sports hub in WBZ, but the competing one, WEI, I started interning there. And I really wanted to get a job, more or less, with the production side. So they weren't offering anything, so I'll do anything, like literally anything. So I took I think the minimum wage at the time was like $7.25 to be on the street team, which is promotions. And I took it in a heartbeat. It was like right before I graduated here, and did that for a few years on the side, a little part-time gig. And it just opened up a lot of doors to connections to people I still talk to today. My former boss is now the marketing director for the San Diego Padres. One of the other bosses I have is the marketing director for the Miami Dolphins. And another one is one of my bosses now at the Sports Hub. So I've stayed in touch with all those guys, and I was able to work with my current boss at our former station there, just like that, in the promotions department. So connections are huge in that sense there, and that's where it all started pretty much.
Yeah, I got my first internship with the Red Bull soccer team. With sports experiential marketing, like going to different fields and promoting the team and trying to help with ticket sales. But what I really pushed them to do was kind of let me create a database because I like working with numbers, and let me chronicle it, create notes, and it allowed us to better target different areas of quick work ethic, just kind of made myself as valuable as I could to that team.
So my internship was with Mass Premier Soccer, which is now Global Premier Soccer. I was in the marketing department, but I did a lot of spreadsheets and research and stuff like that. Like I said, it got me to where I am today by the connections, but it's not something that you kind of pride yourself on. It was a lot of just doing spreadsheets and Excel spreadsheets and different stuff like that. So it wasn't too much fun.
So at this time, we're gonna break up and let the panel sort of mingle with you guys, so we can all just sort of, you guys can feel free to jump around, find tables to sit at, and feel free to come up and ask them any of the questions that you'd like to once they get off the stage.
How different is it when you guys play in BC? Is there a different atmosphere to your work environment, or?
It's a little different. Being a BC game is always fun. It's been different the past few years because they've sort of been on a little bit of a downward, and we've been thankfully on a little bit of an upward, so it hasn't been as contentious. But maybe 2 years ago in the Bean Pot, we had a really epic goalie duel, which is like my favorite type of game. I love it. It stresses me out to no end, but I love just like a really good goalie game. But it's fun being part of the environment. Sometimes when we're over there, it's a little less fun than when they come to us. But
working with the Revs, did you do that after you came back from England?
Yeah.
Directly. What was that actually like doing the ticket sales?
It was challenging when I first started because I had never really done much sales before. So it was kind of a learning process, and that's kind of what you start off on, is just kind of learning and getting the process down. It was a lot of phone calls, so we had to make about, during the season it was 60 calls a day, and then off season it was 100 calls a day, and then kind of going to meetings and meeting with like different, I worked specifically with youth soccer in the South region. So I was in charge of all of the soccer organizations in that South region of Massachusetts. So reaching out to all of the youth soccer presidents and trying to get their teams out to the games, and then in the long run getting them to sign up for like a youth soccer partnership. So it was a grind, but I think it paid off.
Especially being a radio host, there's a lot of pressure when you're on.
They will let you know too. People will let you know.
I'm sure.
Oh, you get it all the time. You ever hear of Twitter trolls? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're brutal. They're brutal. Yeah. Don't tell me you're one of them. No. Oh, good. Okay.
So like on a day, a lot of things happen in the sport world.
Yep.
Major like cases or even games. How do you guys select what would go first in that day when it comes to soccer? Like if it's a big day, like different sports are going on, playoff games.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Boston goes first, obviously, with the breaking hours.
Exactly, unless it's like a major, yeah. But yeah, Boston would get first, and it's just kind of like wherever the wind is blowing, wherever people you feel like they're talking. Like, all right, so for today, we'd be talking. What's today? Thursday, so.
Thursday night football, maybe. Maybe talking about what the Pats can do.
Well, yeah, we're getting close to Sunday, so yeah, we'll talk about that. Who's going to be healthy? Will Gronk play?
Yeah.
Last night, the Red Sox too. Chris Sale had
13 Ks. Got the Pedro Martinez.
Yep, this guy knows his stuff. I like it.
Yeah. So you saw your tweet on that this morning.
You saw my tweet?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Good man. All right. Thank you. All right. Good stuff.
That's the thing with your internships. Like, it's okay if you don't like them. I think finding out like what you don't like is just as important as finding like out what you do like.
Yep.
And there's so many different avenues in sport to sit here right now, or even like for myself and yourself, like at 18 to be like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. I was a softball player. I was not a soccer player. But now I'm in the soccer industry and I wouldn't change it. So I fell in love with that through my internships.
So you see, you never know what you're going to end up doing. I mean, one of the biggest projects that I probably done was put together a flag football clinic. I was like, I didn't even know what football really is back then. It was like, what I started learning. And it turned out to be so simple that, I got it done. But that's what, Emily's saying. You just got to be ready for it's coming to you, and don't be afraid of changes. It's going to happen. They're going to be there. Just make sure you're ready to evolve and turn into something better. You know? And don't be afraid to make mistakes either. You know, they're gonna happen. It's better for you to take risks than not take that risk and not learn anything from it.
All right, guys, ready? Got a winning ticket here. What's this, Rafael Devers?
Yes.
Rafael Devers, Red Sox third baseman. Who's a Red Sox fan here? You a Sox fan? Is Tyrese Cox a Red Sox fan?
I'm not giving you this ball.
Oh, boy, they might put the referee suit on here.
Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, good job. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.